Hi you guys, so today is the 20th of posting Bibles of the day, so that only means that there's 5 more days until Christmas, or 4 more days until Christmas Eve. Yippee! And if you guys don't know, today is the 1-year anniversary of Sonic Movie 3. The authority of Jesus challenged. One day, as Jesus was teaching the people within the temple and preaching the gospel, the chief priests and the scribes with elders came up and said to them, "Why us? By what author you do these things, or who is in it that gave you this authority?" He answered them, "I also will answer you a question. Now tell me, was the baptism of John from heaven or from man?" And they discussed it with one another, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say, why did you not believe him? But if we say from man, all people will stone us to death, for they are conceived that John was a prophet." So they answered that they did not know where it came from. And Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things." So I have this little kit here. Pure ASMR. The parable of wickedness. And he began to tell the people this. Sorry, there's people on my roof now. Santa Claus comes to town. Yeah, different. The parable of wickedness. And he began to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard and let it out to tenants, and went into another country for a long while. When the time came, he sent a servant to the tenants so that they would give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. And he sent another servant, but they also beat and treated him shamefully, and sent him away empty-handed. And he sent yet a third. This one also they wounded and cast out. Then do a Denny's review with me. So sorry about that, but continue. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I sent my beloved son. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they said to themselves, "This is here. Let us kill him, so that the inheritance may be ours." And they threw him out in the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He come and destroy those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When they heard this, they said, "Surely not." But he looked directly at them and said, "What then is that it is written, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on the stone will be broken to pieces, and when it falls on anyone, it will crush him." paying taxes to Caesar. The scribes and the chef priests swore to lay hands on him, and that very hour they perceived that he had told this parable against them. But they feared the people, so they wet him and spent spies who pretended to be certain scared that they might catch him in something he said, so as to deliver him to authority and just direction. The governor, so they asked him, Teacher, we know that you speak and teach rightly and show no particularly, but for us to give tribute to Caesar, but truly teach the way of God. It is lawful for us. Wait, it is lawful for us to tribute Caesar or not. But he persevered in their craftiness and said to them, Show me a defineness, those likeness and inscription. Does it have they said Caesar's. He said to them, Then render to Caesar's the things that are Caesar's, and to God and the things that are God's. And then they were not able in the presence of the people to catch him in what he said, but marvelously at his answer they became silent. So I don't really have much to preach here. It actually talks about a certain topic. For example, if it talks about love, or it talks about pride, or it talks about loving your enemies, then is where I can start preaching and saying that's where more important. But these are just things that just happen like going on in the life of Jesus while he was at land. Sadducees ask about the resurrection, and there came to him some Sadducees, those who then him that there is a restriction, and they asked him a question, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother died having a wife but no children, the man must take the widow and raise up offspring for his brother.
You stopped recording.
Pay. And they were not available in the presence of the people to catch him in what he said, but marveling at his answer. Sadducees asked about the resurrection. There came to him some Sadducees, those who deny that there is a resurrection, and they asked him a question, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies having a wife but no children, the man must take the widow and rise up offspring for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and first took a wife, died without children, and the second and the third took her. And likewise all 7 left no children and died. Afterward the woman also died in resurrection. Therefore those wives will be women be. For 7 had her as wife. And Jesus said to them, The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are considering worthy attain to the age and to resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage, for they cannot die any more, because they are equal to angels and are sons of God, being sons of resurrection. but the dead are risen. Even Moses showed in the passage about Brush, where he calls the Lord God of Brush, where he Abraham and God of Isaiah and the God of Jacob. Now he is not God for death, but living all live to him. Then some of the scribes answered, Teacher, you have spoken well, for they are no longer dark to ask him any question. Whose son is the Christ? But he said to them, How can they say that Christ is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at the right hand until I make your enemies for your footstool. And David thus calls him Lord. How is he his son? Beware of scribes. And his healing of all the people, he said to his disciples, Beware of the scribes who will walk around with long robes and love greeting with marketplaces, and they beat best seats in the synagogues and places of honor feast, who devour widows' house and for a present make long prayers. They will receive the greater commend. Now this is kind of important because Jesus says there will be kind of like a fake person and a fake God that claims that they are God, and that's kind of like many people are gonna believe him, be like, oh, this Jesus, but that's not gonna be him. So yeah, that's pretty much the video of today. Bye.
I feel like you're recording.
I am recording so they can hear what's behind the background.